Welcome to Season 2 of Beyond the Booth, with me, your host, Grace Garcia. Today's guest is an internationally recognised DJ, producer, Grammy-nominated songwriter, label owner and host of one of the world's most popular dance music podcasts. Known for his unique blend of techno, house and electronica, he's played at iconic clubs and festivals worldwide, collaborated with top names in the industry and built a loyal global following. So, we are absolutely buzzing to have him with us here today on the podcast. Please welcome the one and only Will Clarke. Will, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Really good. How are you?
Good. I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Sorry, I opened a can like mid chat, mid intro.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I'll probably re-record the intro because we tend to do that anyway. So no worries. How's it going?
Yeah, good. It's pretty good. I can't complain. Just
good.
Starting the week, nice. I was in London yesterday in the studio. Today, podcast with you in studio, and the sun is shining. It's great. Can't complain.
Yeah, amazing. So we're in the studio and the sun's shining.
Yeah.
No. But it's cool. So thank you so much for joining us. This is our first ever virtual podcast. Where in the world are you joining us from today?
I'm in sunny Somerset, so southwest of the UK. I would have loved to have come up today. I know you guys asked, but it was like 4.5 hour round trip, and I've got family friends over for dinner tonight that I've got to cook for, and it's like, it just wouldn't have worked.
The fact you even looked into it just shows what kind of person you are.
I
so
tried.
Thank you so much.
It was like, I really, really wanted to, but this week is I'm heading out for like 4 shows this weekend on Thursday, so it's just like non-stop. But one day we will definitely do it in person. I actually love that you guys do this in person as well. It's something that I've always wanted to do on my podcast, that like, it's just so hard getting, like, you guys must struggle with it as well, because it's like, you're far away from anyone as well.
It's hard not being in London.
Yeah.
Everyone seems to be in London, so it's
London's
difficult.
like just an easy hub. Like, it's like when you asked me, I was like, well, we can do it in London, because it's like, it's just an easy option realistically.
Yeah.
But no, I actually love that you're doing these in person, and I hope people start traveling to do it for you, because it is definitely special.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that so much.
No worries.
Our next guest is actually coming from London, so
is he?
Yeah.
He or
she is. Yeah,
she.
yeah.
Who is it?
Yeah, she is. ESC. She's like a really sick up and coming UKG
ESC.
producer.
Okay.
Yeah. She's just been on. She's done a mix for Sammy Vergie's residency
cool.
on Radio 1, so she's doing really cool
Love
stuff. So you mentioned that you're heading out on the 14th. Well, you've got a gig in America on the 14th in Florida.
Yeah.
When are you heading out for that?
Thursday. So I'm playing Jacksonville Thursday, Friday, Orlando, and then I've got 2 shows in Nashville on Saturday, and then fly back home on Sunday. So
cool.
Yeah.
How you feeling about those shows?
Yeah, pretty good. Just touring really. It's just keep going. It's going to be sweaty as fuck though. Florida and Nashville is just going to be Swampville. It's actually going to be fun because we're doing Friday and Saturday as like free parties.
Oh, really?
Just to kind of give back a little bit to the crew. So we're doing like, it's not like completely, it is free if you turn up early. So we just wanted to kind of, times are tough out there at the moment. So we just wanted to give the opportunity to people that if they want to get in for free, then they just rock up early, which is great. And I think it's actually really important to like, the like local artists will hopefully get a busier crowd, because a lot of the issue, in my opinion, of clubbing nowadays is because it's like everything's so expensive, which means that people don't go till late, which means they only go see the headliner, and then it kind of like club culture kind of dies because you don't get the like residents coming through, you don't get like local followings and things like that. So I kind of like the concept of making people get to the club earlier, so everyone kind of experience the whole experience of what the night's supposed to be. It's not just to see the person headlining.
Yeah, 100%. And it's everyone's favourite DJ started off as the warm-up DJ, but I guess probably back then with a lot of them, people did show up. So it's like you're never going to find your new favourite DJ if you're not getting
Yeah, and you're never going to find like real new music and stuff like that. I think like it's really interesting because you play, it's like you write a record in the studio and then you play it and no one's heard it, right? So like, doesn't do anything on the dance floor. Or it will have an effect. There will be a few people liking it and kind of talking about it and asking what it is. But then it's like, it's that thing of once it's been out for like a couple of months, or like the tease of it on social media has been kind of going and going and going, like everyone wants it then. And I find this the same about like local artists and new artists. Is like, I don't want to kind of sound like an old man and be like it was better back in the day, because everyone's always going to say that. But like, the residents were the actual like heart of the party, and it was like the way culture in that city was built, and I think also you weren't, as a headliner, you weren't going to DJ in the club, you were going to DJ in the residents club, and like the residents handing over the like baton to you for the decks, it was like an honor, because like the residents were like the ones, if you know what I mean. They knew the crowd better than anybody else because they see the same faces week in, week out. And I just feel like there needs to be a bigger push for people to go to clubs earlier, but also promoters need to help that, and DJs need to kind of promote that as well. I think it's a whole community thing that we all need to get better at.
Yeah, 100%. And it's amazing that you're doing that and you're like at the top of the game and you're still, championing the residents.
We're trying out.
Yeah. So with that said, you do a lot. If people ask, Will, what do you do?
Yeah.
What's your response to that? How would you describe what you do in your own words?
Too much. I guess I try not to have that conversation. Like if somebody randomly talks to me, I'd probably say I work in IT or something like that.
Really?
But I think when you start like getting in real conversation with people, or like you're around friends and like somebody introduced you to them, or et cetera, it's kind of, I guess I say I work in music, but it just always sounds so wanky. I don't know, doesn't it? It's like, I always feel like, so like, I don't know. It's just, yeah.
I get that. Why is it weird saying I'm a DJ?
Oh, it's fucking cringe, isn't it? But
it shouldn't be.
I don't think I would ever say I'm a DJ. I don't think I would say I work in music and I produce music and I DJ. Like the DJ is the last thing. And it's almost like I'm embarrassed to say I'm a DJ, because I think probably like culture and community tells you that you can't be a DJ as a full-time job, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Over the years and years and years, like even my like, he was young, he's like 9 now, but like my 5-year-old nephew, now actually it was his younger brother, he was like 3 and he turned around and was like, Uncle Will, when are you gonna get a proper job? And I was like, you absolute knobhead. But it's that's coming from like, I know why he's saying that, but it's like, I just don't think it's part of normal society to say that you're a DJ. I think a musician is kind of sounds better, even though I'm not a musician. So it's I don't know, it's weird. So in answer to your question, it changes every time.
Yeah.
But I don't really ever say that I'm a podcaster, which is really weird. Yeah, I just forget that I do the podcast.
But I feel like that's the big thing now. Everyone listens to podcasts, so it's like,
yeah, I know,
interesting that you don't tell people.
What do you say?
Yeah, I mention it, and it's very new to me, so it's still like a thing that I like to talk about.
Yeah, I don't really like talking about myself, so I would like avoid the question at all costs.
Well, you're in the perfect place if you don't like talking about yourself today, because usually you're on this side.
I'm on the other side, which is usually better, right?
Yeah. So let's go back to the very beginning. What was your musical upbringing like growing up as a kid?
It was great. Like my parents, well, we were all like a musical family in a sense of listening to a lot of music. My mum's a great singer. My dad can't sing in tune at all, but loves like punk. He loves any bit of live music. We grew up going to Glastonbury together. He took me to Reading when I was 12. He took me to see Faceless when I was, I think, 11 years old. That was kind of my first experience of like a rave. So yeah, like we've seen a lot. My mum doesn't like going to like big crowds and stuff. So dad just took me. But yeah, I was so fortunate with my parents. They were so supportive and still are. Yeah, so it was kind of like pretty much anybody else in the music industry has some influence from childhood memories. And yeah, just kind of, if I look back and look at like my parents of like how much they supported me over the years, like it's crazy. I got my first gig in Ibiza when I was 16, and they took me out there to go do the gig. And then when I was 17, like they let me move out there for like a month or 2 months by myself. Like when I was 17, like what the fuck were they thinking?
That is so young. So I imagine that's incredible that you started a residency in Ibiza when you were 17.
So I started my residency in 18.
Okay.
At 18, it was literally like 2 days before my 18th birthday.
Wow.
But I went out there when I was 17 to kind of try and find work and try and like network, I guess.
So that is so young. What age did you realise that this was something that you were interested in
11.
doing as a career?
11 was like when it was probably younger. It was 10, 11. Yeah.
Was there a specific gig, festival or moment where you were like, yeah, this is
I was
what I
always obsessed with Faithless. And then I went to see them live, but it wasn't a specific thing. It was just something I always wanted to do, really. I can't remember not wanting to do it. It was just, It was either rugby or music. That was
rugby.
Yeah, that was the thing.
Right. And I know you lived on the outskirts of Bristol growing up, and Bristol is the hub for dance music and creative industries. Did that influence you much? Did you go into the city centre much?
Not really, because I'm like 45 minutes away from Bristol.
Right.
So like when my first gig in Bristol was when I was 13. So I had like a bunch of friends that were a lot older than me. That we did this like DJ Academy course like back in the day, and from that DJ Academy course we started our own night. So I was gigging in Bristol occasionally, and occasionally you'll go out when like you could go to clubs when you were like 15 then, like just get fake ID and it was fine. But like I didn't grow up in Bristol culture. I kind of just grew up. I live like on an old farm, if you know what I mean. It's like it's very like farmer land around here.
So you had no neighbours to disturb with your loud music?
No neighbours. It's great. It's the best, and still don't. Yeah. So it's even better.
Perfect.
But yeah, Bristol culture, music culture has been a huge influence, but not because I grew up there. It's just I like Massive Attack, Portishead. And I think like there's quite a lot of people that I really look up to that have like either from Bristol or spent a lot of time in Bristol. Obviously like Eats Everything's from Bristol. Breach, he spent some time in Bristol. I think Red Light did as well. Clips. Or I'm really good friends with like Got Some or Arlo. So like I've got a few homies in Bristol that are still like fully in the culture. Jodie Wisternoff is one of them. But it was never like, I was never a rave kid from Bristol. I was never a raver.
Right, I was wondering if that would be the case, because Bristol, you know, I feel like that's a lot of the DJs coming through Bristol kind of started out as ravers, so interesting.
There is quite a cool community in Bristol, and I've never been cool enough to be part of it.
No, of course you are.
No, I'm not. I can't play in Bristol. I don't get booked in Bristol. Like I used to run a night at Motion, like really not regularly, really like unregularly. I think we did like 5 to 6 parties in Motion and then a couple of others like around the town. But the reason why I did that is because I could never get booked. And it was like, okay, well, if I can't get booked, then I'll just throw my own party. But it's I find it's like that in most cities for like people that like grow up around that area or from there, unless you're like in the like the cool crew of the city, like no one gives a fuck.
Yeah, interesting. Because as well, there's like that uni culture as well in Bristol.
Massive
Heavily.
uni
So
culture. Yeah.
same here in Leeds.
Yeah.
So I kind of get it a little bit. You mentioned that your first gig was when you were 13.
Yeah.
And I feel like we went over that really quickly. What was that like? Because 13 is you're so young at the start of secondary school.
Yeah, I found a photo the other day of the night. Actually, I don't know if I'll be able to find it. I won't be able to find it. I'll send it to you later.
Yeah, please do.
I did like a 10-week DJ course. There used to be a DJ academy. Yeah, it was a DJ academy called the DJ Academy. And you would go to a club. I guess it was in a club, like the upstairs of a club. There was a lot of people. There was probably about 30, 40 people there. And you'd be split off into like advanced mixing skills, intermediate, and then like beginner level. I was at the beginner level, and they teach you everything. Teach you how to mix. They teach you it was really interesting because they like teach you how to record mixtapes. They teach you how to like make a flyer. They teach you how to do like all the things that you needed to do at that time in the industry to kind of get eyes on you and build a career. It wasn't anything about producing. It was just purely DJing. So then, yeah, and at the end of that 10-week course, the whole thing is that everyone's capable to DJ and everyone runs a night. So like you learn about the business of the promoting and all of that, and you all throw a party together. So that was the first night that I played.
I mean, you're talking about all of this, and I'm picturing like uni age, sort of like you're getting into that kind of stuff. Like the drive you must have had at 13 to think, right, I actually do want to give this a shot is amazing. It's great that your parents are also supportive of that, and you sort of joined that academy. So you had your first gig at 13. Were you working on your DJing in between then and Ibiza?
Yeah, there was bits, but not much. Like just through the guys at the academy, guys and girls that we all kind of we used to throw a few parties in Bristol. I used to do weddings, so like that was like the thing, the like mobile disco wedding vibe.
Well, they say weddings are the hardest gigs because it's someone's special day and there's so many different opinions.
So many bridezillas, Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, it was fun. Like it was how I earned my money at the time, and it kind of paid for my records, and yeah, like it was great. But it was also like my worst nightmare. Like I can't hit YMCA one more time.
Yeah. No, I can imagine.
My cousin's actually does it for a living, and he is like a extremely successful like wedding DJ. He's got like 5 or 6 DJs out at a time on the weekends. Like he's got a really great business. But yeah, he's still like, dude, I'm still playing the same records from like 20 years ago.
Yeah, honestly, hats off to wedding DJs because it's hard. I've done one wedding and that I found it hard. So yeah,
it's brutal.
No, definitely. Was there a moment that you were like, right, I could go somewhere with this, where it sort of kicked off for you, whether that be in Ibiza, before, after? Was there one gig where you were like, right, this?
I don't think there ever, maybe for some people. I just feel like it's something that I just had to try and work out. And it was like, again, even like now where I'm at in my career, I'm still a million miles away from where I'm at and where I want to be. And I think it's just very small increments that kind of just keep affirming that you're doing the right thing or doing the wrong thing and kind of learning from that. There was moments where I had to make bigger career decisions where it was like, okay, I need to actually stop. I need to go backwards to go forwards. So like, let's say for instance, with Ibiza, I was a resident in Ibiza for a couple years, and I was still young. And I was seeing all the like other residents in Ibiza, like they were like way older. And I was like, do I really want to be in my age now, like mid-30s, still being a resident, or do I want to be a headliner? And it was like, okay, well, I'm gonna quit being a resident and I'm gonna go work on how to become a headliner. And that was more so like writing more music and kind of reaching out to the bigger world of music. But there's been loads of those occasions in my career, and I think everyone has that has some sort of success in this industry. In life, is like, you've got to make some really big decisions that, yeah, it might be uncomfortable to do it now, but in 5 years' time, it should pay off if you do things the right way. And I think I don't know a single person where their career has just gone from like one straight line up to from nothing to success very quickly, or even like successionally, like gone from not being an artist or becoming like wanting to be an artist to then being very successful. I think it's very different nowadays with social media. I think the ability to go from here to there can be like expedited very quickly, right? But you also just don't see the grind for years and years and years.
With that said, did you work any other jobs before music?
Yeah.
Has it always been music from the get-go?
It's always been music, but after being a resident, I stopped stopped being a resident in Ibiza. So I had to earn money, so I came and worked for my parents. They own a drug and alcohol rehab, so it's like completely polar opposites.
Wow.
But I did that for I think I did it for 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And were you doing music alongside that?
Yeah, it was like working full time, and I would wake up, go to the gym, go to work, come home, work in the studio, and just do that over and over and over again until I signed to Dirty Bird at the time. Well, I had a few other records, and there was a few other situations where like I just completely quit for like 6 months. Was going to open a club in Bristol because I was just done with writing music. And
Why was that?
I had like a bit of success with a record called Big Booty. And then it was when when Jamie Jones was popping off, Eats Everything, MK, Lee Foss, like all those guys were like, Seth Troxler were like back, and they were all playing this record called Big Booty. Martinez Brothers as well. And Jamie asked me for like an EP for Hot Creations, and I just kind of went so in my head that like I needed to make a record that sounded like Hot Creations, and it was like, it just drove me up the wall, and I was like, fuck this, I'm gonna stop, because it just wasn't fun. And I hadn't realized that actually they probably just want a record that sounds like me, because that's what happens. But yeah, I think again, like if you map out my whole career, it's like up, massive down, up, down, massive up, massive down. It's not been one road. And I think the thing about social media, you don't see the downs. You just try to deal with them mentally.
How do you pull yourself out of those downs? Because you say you go down and then up. What sort of, is there a trigger that makes you go up again?
I think it's just a combination of setting goals. For me anyway, it's like working towards something. That might take years. Like we're in it now. Like we're in a moment of like changing things, and it's fucking hard. It's really fucking hard. But it's also what needs to be done. It's like when you run a company, it's like firing people. It's like all of the shit things that you have to do to kind of then come out the other side a stronger company. It's exactly the same. We're not it's not just me, if you know what I mean. It's the whole business now. Yeah. It's like a whole team of bringing of all of us trying to really work for the same thing, and it's making sure that everyone's aligned to do the same thing, and wants the same thing out of all of this, and it takes time.
Yeah. I'd like to ask you, if someone who was more at the start of their career came to you and they had sort of like an upwards journey of their career and they'd hit their first real down and they were like, I don't know what to do or where to go from here, what advice would you give someone that was experiencing that for the first time?
Well, I think unless you've done something really bad, right? Unless like something really bad has happened where you've been cancelled, right? there's multiple downs, right? I think let's scrap out the cancellation, but let's just say, for instance, you have like something's not going your way. I think the thing is if you've got there at one point, if you've got to a level where you never thought you could have ever have got, because none of us ever think we're going to get to that big, right? We might want it, but never us are ever going to think that we actually are going to get there. Then if you've been able to do that once, you can do that over and over and over again. And also you've got to ask yourself, do you really want it? Do you really, really want to put all the work into it for it to potentially not to work? Because you never know with this stuff.
It's a risk, yeah. It's a big risk. So yeah, no, that's good advice. Obviously, we've mentioned that you've got an ongoing relationship with America. I know you lived there for a long time in New York, LA, Detroit. When was the first time that you played in America and how did that all sort of begin?
The first ever time I was 20.
Young.
Yeah, I had to get a fake ID for it again. And one of my mates, like one of my best friends, he moved out there, married an American at the time, and we met in Miami. I think, it was all the same year, so it was 20. I was 20 at the time, so it was 2010. No, yeah, 2010. Fucking hell. And then, one of his friends, like, I don't really understand. I can't really remember fully. One of his friends worked for Red Bull, and also one of his other friends had like a watch company, and they were like, let's just do like a mini tour. And yeah, we did like this mini tour. It was absolutely awful, but it was also the best time ever because it was just all of us on the road, just like we were like driving to a lot of places and played in like Alabama in like 2010. Like fucking, they don't know what house music is now, let alone in 2010. Yeah, it was great. But that's
such a contrast from rural Somerset.
Yeah, it's mental. But it's also like we did a party in Brooklyn, which was really cool. I can't even remember what it was called. It was so long ago. But yeah, that was fun. That was my first experience of America.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you think you broke so strongly into the American scene as a British DJ and producer? Because I think that's you don't see that loads. So how do you think you managed to do that?
It was purely through Dirty Bird. Like I signed to Dirty Bird end of 2014, I believe.
And how did that come about?
Just me hounding Claude Von Stroke.
Yeah.
Like completely hounding him. Where like my manager at the time, he had like a slight relationship with him. Like he toured with him like back in the day in Berlin. So like there was an intro there. Because back then you couldn't DM someone. And to like find somebody's email, it was like just impossible, especially if you weren't like fully in it. Or you'd get like somebody's email, but it wouldn't be their like actual email. It would be the email that they don't read, etc., etc. So I got an intro into him, and then I sent him some music. It wasn't right. We sent him another music, and then I think he signed it in November 2014 for I think it was the 10-year anniversary of Dirty Bird, like for their like compilation. And then from that, I kind of just was like, I have to build a relationship with Claude. So I'd like set like a monthly Skype meeting with him. He was like, who the fuck is this dude? And at that point, I was just being ridiculous in the studio, and I'd send him like a new 2-3 records a week. And then I had like a bigger record come out on Dirty Bird called Booty Percolating, and then that's kind of when everything booted off, really, for me.
Incredible. What was it about Dirty Bird that drew you to it and you were sort of tunnel vision for Dirty Bird?
I think for me, the music that they were releasing at the time, I was a huge fan of. It didn't sound like anything else. It was, the artists could be themselves. It had a sound, but it was also so weird, and like there wasn't anything that, like, it wasn't cookie cutter, where and this is no disrespect, but like where it eventually went. It was like, just be weird and just make fucking great music. And there wasn't many record labels that would allow you to have that much freedom. And then, yeah, they were just my family. Like, it was ridiculous how close we all were. And it was I was talking to Kill Frenzy the other day, and we sounded like old men, but we truly were like, the moment in time that we had at Dirty Bird at the time was a moment that no one will ever have again. And in that world, it was so special. And it's sad that it's over, but some great things have to end, right?
Yeah.
But it's back now, and I had to step away from it because, again, it was like what we kind of spoke about with my residencies. Like, I wanted to move on to different things. I wanted to grow as a human and as an artist, and so that was my decision to leave then and kind of set up my own stuff. But yeah, like, looking back, it was the best thing for me as a growing artist. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's cool that you can pinpoint that as well. You talk about how Dirty Bird was really accepting of loads of different sounds, and they still are, and your sound is very distinctive. You sort of fuse techno, house, electronica. Has that always been your sound?
No.
What drew you to that sound?
No, it's kind of evolved over the years. Yeah, my Dirty Bird sound was very different to what it is now. Like, I don't think, it's funny when you see like John Summit's been playing a couple of my Dirty Bird records recently, or over the last like couple of years, and it's hilarious to watch, because like, this doesn't, I don't want it to sound like condescending, but a lot of the new audiences don't know my old music because it was so fucking long ago, if you know what I mean. It was like 10, 11 years ago. They've never heard the records I released on Dirty Bird. So yeah, it's quite interesting to see people still play those records and then people kind of discover it and go, oh wait, that's Will Clarke. I played one of my records. I did like a 5-hour set the night in San Diego and ended up playing some of my old Dirty Bird stuff. And I love playing it, but it was a period of my life that I loved, and I love making that music, but it's just also not the music I want to make now.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
So the music that you make now, obviously it fits in really well with all your DJ sets. Yeah. That's the music you also DJ. How would you describe your sound now?
Oh God. I literally don't know.
That's probably a good thing. You let the music do the talking.
Yeah, I really don't know. I really struggle with that question. And I think it's also like, it's something I struggle with as well as a human being and as somebody in this industry, because I love writing so much music. And it's even more so now. I feel like you kind of have to stay within parameters of who you are as an artist and kind of where you sit. And I really struggle with that, because I've got like let's say for instance, I've got top 10 records of like what I want to release in the next year. It's like, it's really hard to fit out of like 200 records to like narrow them down to like 10 records that all sound sonically similar, so it was not going to throw the audience completely out of the sync and go, that's not fucking Will Clarke, that's somebody else, if you know what I mean.
Right.
It's very like brand focused as well. It's like, how do you build this to make it make sense to your audience? Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, it's hard to get a balance. On the topic of your production, obviously we'll get onto your releases in a moment, but it'd be good to go back to when you started producing. At what point in your music career did you start the production side of things? Because obviously you started DJing so young.
I started producing young as well. I started producing like probably when I was 14, but I didn't really take it seriously until I was 16. And then I probably didn't really take it that seriously until I was like 18.
Okay. So you said the DJ Academy that you were part of, they didn't teach you production.
No.
How did you learn how to produce music?
EJ. Back in the day. I don't know if you've probably never even heard this. So
No,
on like Kellogg's like cornflake packs, you used to like get a thing called EJ. I think you could get it on the PlayStation as well. Ask Ollie, he'll know exactly what it is. It was like the closest thing to it nowadays is like Fruity Loops. But it's pretty much, I don't know if you produce or know anything about production, but you know, have you heard of Splice?
Yeah.
So Splice is like literally you buy a loop, you chuck it in, and you make a record, right? It's really fucking simple to write records with Splice. EJ was exactly the same as that, but it had all the like samples in there. It's yourself, so you literally just drag and drop samples in, and that was kind of like my first kind of intro to producing, I guess.
That's cool because it makes it fun as well. It's not like, obviously when you start on something like Ableton and Logic, it's very overwhelming, but if it was just on your PlayStation or something
it was actually on a mate's PC. Like I didn't even have it myself. Like I've never had a games console as well, so I never had it on PlayStation. And then I moved on to Reason, and then I moved on to Cubase.
Are you still on Cubase now?
No, I'm on Logic now.
Okay.
I left Cubase when I went to Mac, because I don't think it was on Mac for a period of time. And then Logic. I just learned everything on Logic, really.
Yeah, cool. But it's cool that you had such a solid foundation before you even started on Logic.
Yeah, I wouldn't really say it was a foundation. I didn't really fucking know what I was doing. I was just chucking things at a blank canvas and hoping it sounded good. So.
Do you still have any of those ones that you made back in the day?
No. There's probably my first release out there somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know what my first release is on Spotify.
I think it was I had a look. I think it was 2010, I want to say.
Was it really?
Yeah. But I think that wasn't your own release. That was a remix. So
I'm literally on.
You have so much stuff on there.
I'm literally on Spotify now. Yeah, 2011. But that definitely wasn't my first remix record. Yeah. Jesus Christ, these are going back. I've never been paid for any of these motherfuckers.
There are so much stuff on there, like it's crazy.
Yeah, I've been releasing a lot of records.
Yeah, I love it.
God, some of these fucking titles are awful. Jesus Christ.
No, I love it because it's like just like your first EP with Dirty Bed as well was a Boogie Woogie. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah,
I love it. Out of curiosity, do you play any instruments?
No.
No.
I noodle around on the keys, but not really well. I've tried to learn the piano so many times throughout my childhood, throughout my adulthood. I went back to lessons like last year. And I just can never, I'm too lazy to sit down and go, Will, you're going to practice. I also don't have a piano. I know I've got keys, but practicing on something that isn't a standalone piano is really hard to me because I just am like practicing around and then I'm like, oh, that sounds good. Like maybe I could turn that into a record. And my brain isn't how can I learn to play the piano? It's how can I make a record? So I need to get a piano realistically.
But I think that's interesting that you say that you need to get a piano because you can clearly make all your music without even having to know how to play an instrument. So I think that's probably reassuring for a lot of producers that can't play instruments and they think that they have to.
Yeah, I think there are benefits to knowing. Like, I know bits, and it has helped me over the years. But if I'm looking for something super musical, I just ask a friend. Like, one of my mates who over the album, he kind of helped me produce for a lot of the records, a guy called Mitch Jones. He's like just one of the best keys player probably I've ever come across. So it's like, I'd rather just have him in the studio for a few days and I'm like, mate, can you give me this, or can you give me a variation of this, or can you just noodle around on this for me? It's just quicker. And I think that's the thing, is like having people around you that are great at what they do. Like, you don't have to be the best keys player. You don't have to be the best bass player. You don't have to be the best drummer. Like, just work it out or find somebody else that's fucking great at it as well.
Yeah, well, that's how bands obviously work, isn't it? So it should be the same in production. And it's interesting you say that, because the way you work with your friend that plays keys is very similar to Groove Assassin, and he's got a friend that plays his keys for him as well, and he was sort of saying the similar thing.
Yeah, you need it. So, you need it. Yeah. I think, but again, like, club music isn't that musical, right? And I think that's the thing, is like, especially even more so nowadays, it's there's less and less melody in club music, which is a shame. But I think it's because of that. It's like people were expected to do everything themselves and can't, which is, of course you can't. Not many people can do everything.
One man band.
Exactly. So it kind of, I think it kind of limits it. But if you go listen to like older stuff, it was like they were using samples in really interesting ways, and they were either like a keys player, and I don't know. It's definitely different now. Definitely.
Yeah. I'd be interested to know your creative process. So when you get into the studio, you've got a blank Logic file. What do you start with? How do you find your inspiration? Where do you go when you're just at point zero?
I don't usually start at point zero now. So it's changed a lot. I used to literally just open up and go like, fuck it, let's just wing it. Now it's more so, okay, I spend a lot of time finding samples or writing top lines. So I'll go in with a singer, a songwriter, write a bunch of top lines on some keys or some samples that I've found or whatever, and then take that away and then use it as a sample. Or I'll find a sample online that I'm like really into. I generally start with vocals first. Like a lot, I very rarely write records that doesn't have vocals.
Right. It's interesting that you start with the vocals, because I feel like you often hear people saying that they start with the drums. So yeah. It's interesting you do it that way around.
I think for me, there's no right or wrong, but I always want to write the record around the vocals. Right. Not write a record and then put a vocal on just for the sake of putting a vocal on. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
It's pretty chill. I do like original vocals. And I like finding samples that aren't original and then making your own original records out of them that like people won't necessarily know that it's a sample.
Right.
But it takes time. It takes a lot of time to like find those samples, and it's very easy nowadays to just go, okay, well that record was fucking massive like 2 years ago, like let's just go and sample that and it's going to be like everyone's going to be playing it. But I think for me that's pretty uncreative. But again, we're in the business of attention, and I think sometimes that's the easiest way to capture attention is by music's so fast now, in a sense of it has such a short lifespan. So capturing people's attention with a sample that is well known is just it's just a very easy way to capture attention.
So on that topic about capturing attention and using the vocal samples, one of your biggest tracks was Rock With Me, and that sample is really catchy. It's like really punchy. Where did that come from, and how did that track come about?
I literally don't know where that sample came from.
Right.
I can't remember where I found it. It wasn't like a specific. So there's multiple samples in there. So the Go sample is from Rave Generator, which is the synth that everyone has. And maybe the vocal is actually from that as well. But I can't fully remember. But I think the Rock With Me, Won't You Rock With Me One More Time? I don't know if that sample is in Rave Generator. Maybe it is, maybe it's not.
Do you know what? It's really interesting. I don't know if you've heard it, but recently a tech house track has come out using the exact same vocal sample. Yeah, and I heard that and I was like, hold on. You've obviously done that. That was like one of your big hits.
Yeah.
So
it's happened a few times in my career where people have sampled records that I've sampled after the case. It doesn't mean that they're copying me. It's they've just found the same sample, but a lot of the time.
Yeah. Different context as well, different audience.
Yeah, but I think like that record was literally thrown together. I wrote it in like half an hour, and I hate. Everyone's like, "Oh, fuck's sake! Of course you wrote it in half an hour." Like, but it literally was. Is like I sent a record to Patrick that I loved, and was like, "Mate, do you want to sign this?" And he was like, "Nah, can you write something like the last EP you wrote for Trick?" And I was like, "Okay, cool." Like. That music, no disrespect, but it's like it's just straight up club records. There's no like thinking about anything. It's just fucking straight up club record.
So did you change it before it was released on Trick?
I just rewrote it. I just started. So Patrick said no, not to Rock With Me. It was to actually Techno Tree. I don't know if you've heard my record Techno Tree with Amara, but he turned that down, and then was like. But can you write? I just released a record called Let's Rave on Trick, and he was like, "Can you do a record like that again?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay." That's like it won't take me long. So I boshed it together in about half an hour. I didn't send it to him straight away because I wanted to like kind of act like I spent some time on it, and and just send it to him 2 weeks later, and he was like, "Yeah, I love it." And then, to be fair, it didn't do well to start with.
Really?
Yeah, the record didn't do well. Like Patrick was playing it, a couple of DJs were playing it, and then it hit like, I think it was when did it come out? 2022? Let me just find it, sorry. I think it came out, when did it come out? I think it was 2021 or 2022. 2021.
I've written down 2021.
Yeah, 2021. October the 29th, 2021. Like it stopped 2 months in, it stopped streaming at like 150,000 or 250,000 streams. And that was like 3 months in, and then and then it just died. And me and the team were like, great, like did all right. Like it didn't do that bad for like what the type of record it is. It's not a masterpiece. It's just a big kick drum and a synth and some old sample saying, "Why don't you rock with me?" And then Techno Bunker, Spotify playlist, Techno Bunker put it at number 1 for like 2 months. And
wow.
And it just skyrocketed to the point where it was like, it hit like trending in the Netherlands and trending in like Germany or something like that on the Spotify trending charts. And it just kind of did its own thing, and now it's at like 21 million, which is a lot of streams. It's not in the grand scheme of what a lot of people are getting now that are having extreme success on Spotify, but 21 million streams for a record that took half an hour to make, and it wasn't really like, it's so random. It's like,
it's wild how much impact Spotify putting that on one of their playlists can make.
It did have, like, at that time, it was when Spotify's playlist had real impact. You got to think that's 4 years ago. It's changed massively now. So like now it's all mostly algorithmic playlists. There wasn't a single algorithmic playlist then. There wasn't anything going, oh, we see you listen to that, so okay, the top 10 of Housework is all what everyone hears, but then below 10 or below 20 is completely different for everybody else. So it was when playlists really like helped. And there's also like a third party playlist that is just like if I log on to my artist, like it's still from 2021, it's still my most streamed record on a daily basis. And don't get me wrong, I don't do massive streams generally. Like my monthly streams are like my monthly list is only like 350,000, which I know sounds a lot. I know it sounds a lot, but in the grand scheme of like streaming world now, but like, yeah, like
they're still insane numbers.
Yeah, it's pretty good. In the last month, it's like done 162,000 streams, but that's
insane.
A lot of it's like coming from like, there's like one playlist that's like not Spotify, Rave Party, 19,000 streams. And it's like a third party playlist. And it's been on this like playlist for ages, I think. And there's been like a few where it just keeps hitting like techno playlists. Yeah, it's weird.
Gosh. Well, you've written so much music, and obviously you say that track took you half an hour and it just did insanely well. Is there one track that specifically means a lot to you for whatever reason?
Yeah, my whole album that I put out last year was like it was like what I wanted to do my whole career.
Sick album.
Thank
Midnight
you.
Mass.
Yeah, it was like a whole process that I wanted to achieve and do, and I loved it. I loved the whole process of it.
It was a long process, wasn't it? Because I know from start to finish it took you around 2 years to get it out from when you started it.
So it's like the process of writing it, I gave myself a year. And I literally nailed it from April to April. It took me. Realistically, if I cut down all the time that it actually took me, it was probably like 4 months. Because obviously you're touring throughout all of that and traveling and doing all of that. So yeah, it was the longest period was like signing it and then doing all the business side of it. Really, that's what took the longest time.
So what sort of things go into that? Because a year seems like a long time for people, like me at the start of my career. I've not got any music out. That's a long time to get something out. What sort of things go into that?
So it's a really good question, because I think I purposely wrote the album without a record label in mind. And it was like, I didn't want to do an album deal. First of all, I don't think anyone would have wanted to do an album deal with me, because it was like I wasn't the biggest thing since sliced bread. And also, like, no one likes dance music albums. They're fucking pointless, if you know what I mean. It's the industry the business side of it. They don't make money. They cost money, and they don't really generate cash back unless you have like a couple of hits off it, right? And I was going in writing a record that wasn't made for the dance floor. Like, these records weren't made for DJs to play. They were made for me to play in a live situation when I did the live show. So it was kind of like I just wanted to write the record by myself, and then we went and found a record label to put it out on. And that's the whole process. And then also what people don't tell you about, okay, so like I had records with Hayler, I had records with Clem Douglas, I had records with some like really big acts that got way too big and didn't want their names on the records for obvious reasons. That they were just way bigger than me and like had other things booked in and things like that. So I had to go get songs resung.
No way.
Oh, this happens.
So interesting.
This happens all the time. This is business, music business 101.
Yeah.
That like you write a song with somebody and then they can't have their name on the record because they're in contract issues. They don't want their name on the record because they're probably bigger than you now and don't want to associate with you in a non-negative way. That's not me saying anything negative about it. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Or the way I've produced the record they don't like it so they don't want to put their name on it. All of these are totally fine. Like, none of these are the issues. But then the issue is like, well, I now have to find somebody to re-sing the record. That also sounds good. Because if you're working with some of the best in the world, to then get somebody that can sing as well as them is really hard. So like a lot of the vocalists on the album weren't the original vocalists.
That's so interesting.
So that's a massive process. And then you've got to do the deal like with the label. Like for me, then you've got to do the deal with all the singers and all the other writers on there, because I wanted it to be a collaborative thing. So like there's other writers on there, there's other producers on there. It's not as simple as just a fucking club record.
Yeah, and this process, did you deal with most of it by yourself, or did you have your manager help you?
No, my team were absolute dreams for it. Manager, lawyers. Yeah, it's a whole process. But realistically, the buck stops with me, and I've got to finish the records. And I wanted like the mix down. Like I usually mix down on my own records, but I wanted to get somebody to mix the records down. So that was like a whole process of me going in with Cal, and then usually I get Andy at AM/PM to master my records, and he usually just does it, and he sends it to me, and I'm like, yeah, it sounds fucking great. But I wanted to be involved. Like I was just being the wanky artist. I was just like, I just want to be involved in every situation and every process of it.
Yeah, it's your art, so it's important, isn't it?
So it was an interesting process.
Yeah, and what made you, obviously since Midnight Mass came out, you released a remix album with so many cool artists. You know, you've got Floor Plan and all these like huge names, Josh Wink. What inspired you to want to have this remix album created?
If I'm totally honest, like the remix album was never really a thought from me, but it makes sense on a label side where the records weren't made for club. So to make a remix album where the records are made for club makes sense, right? So those records can actually be played in clubs, because of the remixes are all DJ producers and can make it. So when we decided to do it, I was like, okay, well, let's just put a wish list out there of like who I'd love to see on it. And like it was great. Got some friends on there, and also got some new people that I'd never heard of, which is also amazing.
You've got Lou Ray on there. I love her.
Yeah, see, I hadn't heard of her until oh my days, one of the guys at the label said check her out, and then we've become mates since. Lawrence Hart is like, I'm a huge fan of Lawrence Hart. Christian Nilsson, I've been like a good fan and a good mate of Christian for years. Floor Plan's like one of my favorite. Born Dirty and Rose Riot is the same person, but like they're my homies. So like there's a mixture of like homies, legends, and like just new people, which is great. Yeah.
I love that you champion up and coming talent as well. Like you don't have to be doing that, so it's amazing that you're doing that. And
we do have to. We do have to. It's like there's no argument to say that we shouldn't. We really should. Yeah. Like it's the only way to kind of push music forward.
I love that. On the topic of remixes, you've obviously done some huge remixes for the likes of U2, Rihanna. You know, that's just like insane. How did opportunities like that to remix for these huge artists come about?
It was fucking random. The Rihanna one. So Rihanna was, I used to be managed by the same management as MK, or we were on the same management company. And now we actually are on the same management, a different management company, but the same management company again now. But he used to, that was like in his like prime MK remix days, where he'd get offers and either say yes or no, but then I'd be able to get, I was fortunate enough to get like side shoots, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that was, the Rihanna one was that. And then the U2 one was came from that management, and they were just really well connected in like the old big band stuff. And then like Rufus, which like Rufus Du Sol, they asked me, just did the Calvin Harris one, and I've just done the MK one of Dior, but I don't know if it's going to come out yet. So yeah.
Okay. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that remix album, the Calvin Harris one, that one's huge. Like, that's everywhere at the minute. So that's
mental.
Really cool that you're a part of that as well. Going back to the topic of labels, obviously you've released tracks on huge labels, you know, Trick, Armada Music, Dirty Bird. What advice would you give to producers if they're wanting to get their music signed to these major labels?
I don't know, because I don't really know what it's like to sign records nowadays to other people's record labels, if you know what I mean. Like it's very easy for me to, I'm coming from like a bit of a privileged situation where I have a lot of relationships with these people. So if I want to sign a record to certain record labels, I will just reach out to them personally. But I think that is the crux of it, is just build relationships. Make fucking great music and build really good relationships. And don't be that person that just wants to sign a record. Like, be the person to like actually want to connect with somebody and build a relationship. And kind of, you've got to think, you're asking somebody for something. You're asking a massive artist that has worked their ass off for their whole life to give you a chance to potentially be the first person or the second person or the third person to put you out into the world. Like, first of all, it has to be really fucking good. Second of all, like, just don't expect it. Like, like I can send records to friends, record labels, and I can guarantee that 90% of them won't ever get signed, which is why I started my own record label, if you know what I mean. It doesn't mean they're bad records, but it just means that it's not sonically in line with what they want to release. But I think it's like, ask yourself, why do you want to sign to that record label? Like, do you want to sign to that record label because you love the music or because you want success? Right? And I think that's where you need to kind of work out where you need to go and what your morals are in all of this. And it's weird. It's really weird. It's tough now. It's really hard because there's so much music out there. There's so much ability to pop off very quickly. So there's like, it's pros and cons, right? You don't need a record label nowadays.
No.
If you're fucking good at social media and you can get DJs to play your records, right? Which is pretty easy nowadays to like get your music to DJs. Like, there's multiple ways to do that. There's PR companies, there's DMs, there's all of these ways to do it. And if you're really fucking good at social media, like, you're a step above everybody else. So
interesting, because you're like, obviously you're social media wizard. Like,
I'm really not. People say this. I'm really not.
Well, you're so consistent and you have such a variety of different content.
Yeah.
What is your approach to social media?
I'm fucked at the moment. I don't have a clue. Like, generally,
Really?
like I had a social media company for like the whole album process, and they were really good, and there were some really good points about them and some points that I wasn't too happy about them. So I decided to stop working with them. Previous to that, I did everything myself. And I'm very fortunate that I have a PA that she posts a lot of everything for me. And now her and I do like my social media planning. But genuinely, in the last year, my social media has not been as successful as it could be, right? It's dropped massively in a sense of like the growth isn't there. The engagement isn't there as much. And it is literally like a full-time job. And I think this is the thing that I've realized now, is that I have to bring on, I physically can't do anything else. Like I'm at the point where I need help to do that. And that's kind of one of the processes we're going through now, is like finding the right team to help with everything that I do, because it's similar to you guys, right? It's like you can create an amazing podcast. Like your podcast looks way fucking better than mine. Like way better. Like you've got a cool set, like it sounds great. Like I'm just in my fucking little studio doing my thing. But like
I love the way yours is set up. It's so personable.
It's different,
it's
right?
Really nice.
Yeah. But we can all create amazing work and an amazing art. But if we don't present it to the world in the correct way, then not many people are going to see it. It's exactly the same with music, right? It's like you can make the best record in the world, but if you don't put it out and if you don't market it correctly, no one's ever going to fucking hear it. It's the same with this podcast, right? If you don't clip these clips that are like clickbaity or gives value to the audience in the correct way, no one's going to see it.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting you say about the marketing side of things and like having these ideas, because one thing I wanted to ask you about is before you announced your live shows, you had a really interesting marketing strategy where you pretended you were retiring.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that and I was like, no, like surely not. And you were like, I'm hanging up my headphones, I'm retiring from DJing. And obviously that was part of your marketing strategy for the live show. What inspired you to approach it that way?
That was actually the social media company that I was working with at the time. We spent a lot of time on this, and it was like, what can we do that's like not lying, right? Because I wasn't lying.
Spinning the truth.
But like spinning the truth to a certain extent of like, this is something new. But again, I think, okay, that worked really well, right? It got so much engagement. It was actually really stupid of me because my phone didn't fucking stop for like a month after that. Because of course, social media, you don't see, like sometimes I might see your post that you posted a month ago. It doesn't show you. It's weird, right? It's very weird how what social media shows you. So people still think I'm still retired.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's like, of course, it's like, okay, let's say for instance you weren't that into social media, you weren't doing what you were doing, so you didn't have to have your like eyes to the game all the time. Like, oh fuck, Will Clarke's retired. Forget about that for the next like 4 months, and then see I've like announced a DJ tour, and then they comment, I thought you retired. Like that is wild. Yeah,
that's wild that some people still think that you're retired.
Yeah, it's crazy. But again, I think this is the thing, is like, it's very egotistical of us, and I'm saying us, I don't like to talk about us, like everyone, but I think in this world, because of what we do is so important to us, we expect that everybody else thinks it's just as important to them, and it's really fucking not. We're literally just fucking DJs, right? And realistically, in the crux of life, no one actually gives a fuck about you over themselves. Like, that you are number one to yourself, and you have to be, right? Because otherwise you're not going to be getting up every day and cracking on with your day. So I think this is where, flipping it back around to marketing, you have to give people a reason why to actually care about you, and you either giving them value, and you kind of have to like hammer the message over and over again until people understand it. Records don't blow up from first listen. Albums don't blow up from first listen. Most albums people hate first time around. Second time around they love it. Third time around, second time round they start to like it. Third time round they like it. 10th time round they love it. It's part of their life for the rest of their life. But first time, if you don't get them in that first hook, it's just not worth it. And that's the thing, is like, I realized this at the beginning of the year, that it's like, if I want to play with the big boys, I've got to be with the big boys. Right?
Yeah.
And it's like we have to invest, and we have to build a team that really understands the goal and really understands how to get there, and almost looking at it completely non as an artist and going, what would a fucking energy drinks company do, if you know what I mean? Like,
And
what
that goes back to that marketing
Yeah.
strategy.
Exactly.
Yeah. So obviously that was for the live show. Can we talk a little bit about your live show tour? Because that just looked insane.
It
so
was.
What inspired you to start that, and sort of like what was the experience like of touring that live show?
I'd always wanted to do it since I was like 12 years old. It was
Wow.
always like I looked up at Faithless and Chemical Brothers are still my like gods. Like I worship the ground they walk on, everything they do. Just unbelievable. And so for me, clubbing, DJ is just the easy way to present your music, right? And to entertain. It's really easy. And it's way easier now. So it's like, okay, now I want to do the live music thing. And I loved it. It was just so fucking expensive. It just doesn't make any financial sense. Like I lost so much money on that tour.
Really?
Like enough to buy a house money.
Would you still say it was worth it for you because it's something you wanted to do for so long?
It's a question that I literally battle around in my head for like the last year, if you know what I mean, or the last, when it ended, 7 months. Like I loved it. It was so much fun. We had a crew. I never travel with anyone. It's always me, just by myself. So we had there was 7 of us. But like,
that's a big crew.
It's a big crew. And like we didn't do it in half measures, if you know what I mean. But like, let's just do the maths on this. Okay. 7 people, 7 hotel rooms in New York City, $550 a night for a hotel room. That's just like before flights. That's before. And like, I'm not a massive artist where I can sell tens of thousands of tickets. Yeah, I might be able to sell 1,000 tickets or 500 tickets or a couple of thousand tickets, right? But it's not like financially you look at it as like this, and then the cost of everything is unbelievable. Like I've just had SG Lewis on the podcast. It's not out yet, but we've just recorded it, and he talks about it a lot. Is that you do the live show for yourself, and it does. I think it's a really nice experience for fans. I think fans that actually, like real fans that come to it, love it, right? And your true super fans that do come, it's a moment that they will always remember. But to where like a DJ set doesn't necessarily have that effect, right? And I think it's just music presented in a different way. Would I do it? Would I do it again? 100%. But I need a hit record. I need a record that allows me to get to the level of I need to sell 10,000 tickets every show to be able to afford to, like, the money is insane.
What a goalpost though, like that's definitely something to aim for.
100%. If I told my manager that I want to do a live show again, he'd probably kill me.
I know. So,
and if I told my girlfriend and my family that I want to do another live show, they will probably kill me.
They'll be like
the amount of stress.
Yeah.
Like I remember calling my mum on the day of the LA show, and like it was hard. Like hard ticket sales. It's hard. You're going into different rooms. Hard what to expect. You're like dealing with all of this. And my mum, and my mum is very supportive. She was like, maybe it's time to just look at a different career path and just like, let's, you've done it. You've done a fucking great job. Let's like, if you've got this much stress in your life, like it's not worth it. Like it's not worth all of this stress for like 6 shows.
Yeah. But then you say you'd still do it again.
I'd do it again, but very differently. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What was your setup in your live show? What did you have?
So the heart of it was like a V10 mixer. I had this sub 37. I had, let me just grab it. The Minolog.
Oh, you got it all there.
Yeah, I've got. So this Minolog here, it's not plugged in because still some of it's in LA. And then I had the machine. So this, the machine.
Wow, cool.
And then
The machine.
I had like a 303, some delay and distortion units. I think I had I had a drum machine as well. And then on we also, I stupidly did like synced visuals. So we had like a whole visual like story. I actually really want to put that online. Do like the whole set live.
Please do.
As like a visual thing. But it was like...
Do you have a fully recorded version?
We do, but again, that's like something that I'm a bit annoyed about. I wish we spent more money on the actual capturing of it, because going back to what I was talking about marketing wise, is like nobody knew what the Will Clarke live show was. So like, how do we present that to the world so they actually start understanding it more? Like, we captured it, but not 100%.
Do you know what? It sounds like you could have done a documentary style video of the whole tour.
I wish I did. I wish, again, okay, so it cost so much money. If I was to do it correctly and like to the level of where I wanted to do, you're probably like doubling the cost, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, no, realistically, it's like, because all of that costs a lot of money. And you also have to look at it as like, but like, not between you and I, other people are going to be listening to this. Going into 2025, my bank balance was at zero. Like, there was literally nothing in there. Like, to the point where like my business managers had to like not pay certain bills for like a couple of months until I like, it like live show, unless you're like can sell out massive amounts of tickets, it's so expensive. And I think this is the thing that people forget about, is even on big DJ shows. I was talking to Chris on the podcast, Chris Lake on the podcast the other day, and obviously conversations off the podcast, but it was like these massive DJ shows, like let's say John Summit doing a stadium, like, okay, let's use Madison Square Gardens for example, right? I know a handful of people that have done Madison Square Gardens now. One of my friends manages one of the biggest DJs in the world. I won't say who, but they did Madison Square Gardens, sold it out, okay, and still lost money.
What?
And
you can't comprehend that though. Like, if it's so like,
I know.
That doesn't make sense.
Exactly. And this is the thing, is like production costs money, hiring venues costs money. So they had to make money, they had to do parties in the same city at another venue 2 nights in a row and sell those out to then make any money at all. So a lot of these like massive shows don't necessarily make amazing money, but it makes an amazing experience for the fans, which then is kind of a give back to the community. And then you make money doing DJs.
Yeah, it sounds, taking the economics out of it, it sounds like it was all worth it aside from the money stress.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I'd love to eventually see one of your live sets one day, hopefully.
If we ever do it again.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed. We've chatted for a while, but I feel like we've not spoken loads about your actual DJ career.
Yeah.
So I'd be interested to know, what is your approach to preparing for your DJ sets? Because obviously you're out touring a lot and you're on the road a lot. So how do you prepare for your DJ sets?
I don't really prepare in a sense of like, okay, if I'm doing like a 5-6 hour set, I'll prepare like hour 1 rough records that I'm going to play. I'll do like a playlist on Recordbox, and then hour 2 and then hour 3. And it's usually just me like, oh, I haven't played that record for like 5 years. I need to pull that one out of the bag and kind of see if it still works nowadays.
Okay, interesting.
But a lot of my like shorter sets or like headline sets or like festival sets, it's pretty much 99% of my own music. So it's either records that I've finished that week in the studio, or records that aren't released yet or that are coming out, and then a mixture of like my bigger records to just like crowd pleasers really, or edits. I do quite a lot of edits as well.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, you've been doing this for a long time, but do you still ever get nervous before you play?
Nah, I've never really got nervous. I think
Really?
the last time I remember feeling nervous was I played the Do Lab stage at Coachella in like 2017. I think it was 2017. I remember like shitting a brick then. And I played Coachella last year, and yeah, I thought I'd be nervous, but I wasn't.
The crowd you had at Coachella was just like mad. Like that was, what was that stage called that you played at Coachella?
That's the Yuma tent.
Huge.
Yeah, it's pretty big. But again, like, I think, I don't know. What's your day job? Do you have a day job? This. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Have you ever like worked like a corporate job or anything like that?
Like office admin.
Okay, cool. Your first day office admin,
Yeah.
you were nervous, right?
Oh yeah.
Right. Second day, a little less nervous.
Yeah.
100th day, didn't
Yeah.
give a fuck.
But I find it's different with DJing personally. I still get nervous, and
But how long have you been DJing for?
3 years.
How many
So
how many gigs have you played in that 3 years?
I'm not sure. Not load. Maybe
Yeah.
like 40.
Exactly. You're still like day one, right?
So would you get nervous when you were sort of like at this stage?
Yeah, of course. But then I think the thing for me is like the residencies that I did. Residencies are like game changing for like confidence, because you deal with everything. You're not even dealing with just being a DJ. You're dealing with like venue issues. You end up being the sound tech like half the time. Like
It's your training ground, really, isn't it? Residency.
Exactly. And I think there's the saying that I hear so many times is like, if you don't get nervous, then you shouldn't be doing what you're doing. And I'm just like, that's just fucking bullshit. It's like, realistically, what is there to be nervous about? This, and I just break it down. Like, okay, let's do it for you. What are you nervous or are you excited? That's two different questions. Two different feelings. What does nerves feel like?
Very similar to excitement, actually.
Right? It's exactly the same. Okay.
Yeah.
So like, if you were to talk about nerve, that feeling in a nervous way, what are you nervous about?
I think it's just thinking about everything that could possibly go wrong.
What could go wrong?
Your USB corrupts,
Yeah.
or the music all stops and you don't know why, or you clutter a mix, or I don't know.
Okay,
things like that.
so let's go with USB corrupting. Do you have a spare USB stick?
Yeah.
No need to be nervous.
Yeah.
Right?
I think I'm just an overthinker. I bring like 6 USBs to everything.
Fine. So you've got nothing to worry. So you don't need to worry about that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Second one, music stopping, completely out of your control.
Yeah.
What's there to be nervous about? It's out of your control.
Yeah. Good point.
If you press the Q button and all the music turns off, well, just laugh. We all make mistakes, right?
Yeah. It's not the end of the world.
It's not the end of the world, and it's just fucking house music.
Yeah.
It's not like we're like, okay, I get it. If this was open heart surgery, I'd fucking get it.
Very different.
Right?
Yeah.
But I also know that I've actually had like, over the years, I've known people that do open heart surgery and listen to rave music whilst they're doing it. And you're just like, but again, they're on day 400 of doing open heart surgery.
Very true.
I think, and I know like DJs that just get so nervous. Like Hannah Lang, like I don't know if she still does now, but for a good fair few years of her career, she would puke. Like,
I remember seeing that. Yeah, and I remember someone commented like, "Oh, have you had too much to drink?" And she was like, "No, I'm just nervous."
Yeah, just completely like nervous. And I get it. Like I have to talk about for myself, and like for me, it's something that. Was I nervous on the live show? Yeah,
because it's a
new thing. But like by show 6, I wasn't nervous. because we'd had
interesting.
issues and it had been fixed, and I'd seen that it would be fixed on the fly and nobody know. Like, we'd all know. We'd all be talking on the talkback mics going, oh, this is fucked up, blah, blah. No one knows.
Yeah. But I love how you can kind of take that as a positive because you learn something from it and then hopefully it won't happen again.
Yeah.
On that topic, has there been anything that's gone wrong in any of your DJ sets that, you know, whether it be out of your control or not?
All the time. Like music cuts out, USB's corrupt. But like, in the grand scheme of things, no one remembers it. And sometimes if the night's actually if it's a hard night, if the crowd's being really difficult, like sometimes just pressing stop and just like starting from scratch and like having a queued up absolute banger to like kind of reset the night is like, it's a happy accident.
I love that. I love like your problem solving. Like it's really inspiring to hear because I think a lot of people do tend to like freak out a little bit or not stay cool, calm and collected.
I get it.
So
I totally get it. But I think that analogy of like first day at work, second day at work, 100th day at work.
Definitely. Yeah. On the flip side, what are some of your standout gigs? Have you got any like super career highlights where you're like, I will remember that gig for the rest of my life?
I'm like so very fortunate that I've like had so many of those and like played so many gigs that so many people would want to play and maybe never play. On like the most memorable gig recently for me, like I think last year we did, like leading into the live show, I did like a bunch of like free pop-up parties. So we did a laundromat in New York, we did a subway station in Toronto, we did a fire station in San Francisco, and I think we did one more somewhere else and I can't remember what it was. But the laundromat in New York was just unbelievable. It's hands down probably one of my favorite top 5 gigs of my life.
Wow, that's amazing to hear, especially because like these are parties that you threw as well.
Yeah, it was just there was like 250 people. There was probably about 1,000 people queuing up to come in.
Wow.
And yeah, it was just a vibe. To the point where there wasn't a dry piece of clothing on me. It was fucking gross.
Sign of a good night.
Everyone stank. It was just like the most perfect party ever. The music cut out a bunch of times because somebody kept on standing on the power cord. Like, it wasn't perfect, if you know what I mean. It wasn't the like quintessential perfect night, but it was the most perfect night because it was a free party. There was a bunch of people that wanted to be there. A bunch of people brought their parents. Like, it was just a fucking good time. And it's the one party that everyone comes up to me and says, I was at that, or I wish I was at that.
Wow, that's insane. That's incredible.
Yeah, it was amazing.
What's your favorite thing about DJing?
The community. Yeah, the community, like seeing people come together and like make memories. That's why we do it, or that's why I do it.
No, that's amazing. Right, so we've chatted about your production, DJing, live shows, social media, so much cool stuff. We haven't even talked about your incredible podcast yet. I mean, you started that in 2020 and you release episodes weekly. I mean, I think you're nearly at the 300 episode mark, which is like, obviously I know how much work goes into creating one singular podcast episode. So like, that is insane that you're managing to do that alongside all your touring, all your production, your live show, real life, family life as well. What inspired you to start the Will Clarke podcast?
I used to have a radio show and I hate doing mixes. Like, doing radio mixes, I just refuse to do it pretty much. It just is my least favorite thing.
Why is that?
It just doesn't appeal to me. Like, I don't DJ, like, because when I do like radio mixes, I do it on Ableton. It's just boring to me. Like, it's not fun. And I was doing this monthly show and it just, every month it was an absolute drag. But in that show I did like an interview series where I just sit down for like 2-3 minutes with artists and just like ask them shit and they'd give me some records, etc., etc. So it was kind of that, and I always wanted to do it, but just didn't really know how to do it. And I'm like a big podcast listener. I've consumed podcasts for probably the last 10 years. So I was just like, why not? And during COVID, or at the beginning of COVID, it was April 2020 when I started it, like we had time on our hands. So like everyone had time on their hands.
Yeah.
I think,
and it's building connection in that disconnected time as well.
Yeah. And I think that's it. Is like, we don't really have long conversations as artists, as human beings anymore. We don't really, like, when was the last time you've had a conversation this long, like without your phone going off, without any other distraction? I know somebody's phone goes off in the background, and it kind of like takes you out of the conversation for a period, right?
It does, yeah.
And or like the outside world, or we don't do this anymore. And I just think it's really important to have that. And this isn't even for the crowd, right? Like there's people, yeah, obviously you're asking questions that people might maybe hopefully interested about, but realistically it's like, this isn't, for me, this is just having a conversation with you. And like you and I will always have had this conversation now. And then if anybody else wants to listen to it, then they can fucking listen to it, right?
Yeah, it's like a bonus, isn't it?
Exactly.
Like you get to share that with other people as well. So is it something that you really enjoy doing then?
Yeah, I do really enjoy it. I do really enjoy it. It's a lot of work, as you know.
Yeah.
Like, and realistically, I had a slight editor for a while, and now I just do everything myself.
Wow, so you produce it, plan it,
I do
find your guests.
Yeah, so with the guests, it's my management helps slightly with that. My PA, Alicia, she's an absolute godsend. She does all the planning of like, once the guests are locked in, she does the reach out for guests as well. And then I also do majority of the reach out, just because it's all personal relationship, right? Just like me reaching out to come onto yours, right? It's like, that wasn't through my management. It was just through me reaching out to you, going, I love what you guys do. Like, let's lock it in.
Yeah, it was amazing to receive that message, because obviously I've listened to your podcast for so long, and it is like a gold mine. Like there's so many interesting stories and insight and advice that it's just like, as an up and coming DJ and producer, it's everything you could hope for.
It's incredible. Great. But I just think it's great having other people on this platform doing podcasts in this world. It's like, when I started it, there was only Willie's podcast, the B2B podcast, not the one that I was. It's called Back to Backs. There's now 2 back-to-backs,
right,
which is slightly confusing. But Willie was like one of the OGs, and his podcast he'd done loads before me, and I didn't really know of him until, because it kind of sits in a different world. It's more in the bass music world in America. But there just isn't many conversations. Like, obviously you got Scuba's now, which is a great podcast. You got the other B2B, which is growing as yours. There's a few out there, but realistically, in the grand scheme of how big this music industry is, you've got Olivia that started kind of, hers is more of like an academy educational thing. But yeah, like, I think it's great. It's great having this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've had like global superstars on your podcast. You've had Carl Cox, Chris Lake, James Hype, Tisha, Chris Dussy, Hannah Lang, loads of Radio 1 DJs. Yet you still, no matter who it is, it's such a relaxed, conversational, it sounds like a chat between 2 mates. How do you approach these podcast episodes, and how do you keep it so chatty and relaxed?
I think like that is kind of stupid of me, but I don't plan anything.
Really?
So I don't have any questions. So like, where you like, and this is just there's no shade thrown at anyone.
Yeah.
But I think for me, like, a podcast is like very conversational, and I think in the right conversations, obviously you have pointers in your head of like, okay, let's talk about this. They've just released an album. Let's talk about that, right? Or let's talk about, there's a few things that like, I know, pillars that I'm probably going to ask, but also I might not, because the conversation might flow into complete rant. Like, let's say, for instance, I'm kind of quoting all these podcasts that aren't out yet, but like today, who's out today? Luke Van Dyke. But I've got a conversation with Cassian that I've had that won't be out till like October, right? And there were so many things we could have talked about, and we talked about nothing. And it was literally just a conversation of, because like we don't get to talk, so it's just like it's just a catch up, and like you have to kind of talk slightly about the industry. But my favorite conversations, especially on the podcast, is when like it's just not structured at all. And
I think that's a real USP for you, because I think you get that a lot with like the lifestyle podcasts and the influencer podcasts, but with a lot of music podcasts, it is quite structured. So I think that's amazing that you are able to do yours that way.
I think all of us can do it that way.
Yeah.
But I think it's going in with no agenda, that this podcast might actually suck a bag of dick. Like you might not get the conversation that you want out of it. And there's been a few episodes that were just like hard work, because they come in expecting an interview and I go in expecting a conversation.
Ah, okay.
Right? Like there's there's a classic one. I won't say who, because he's become a good friend, but it was like, felt like I was just hammering questions at him, because I realized he wasn't going to ask anything back. And I realized that it was just going to be a one-sided conversation. So I was literally sat here going, what the fuck? Like whilst he's answering a question, I'm like, what the fuck am I going to ask him now? Because I have nothing lined up. Like I know,
that's what I'd worry about.
Yeah, like I know about his career, I know about what he's succeeded, but like, and then it took like 45 minutes for him to like give back. And I was like, like it took time. But I think also the longer you do it, the more, there's no right or wrong. Like there's no thing that saying that you shouldn't ask questions. Like it's the questions you're asking are great. It's just not how I wanted to do a podcast. Yeah,
but I love that. I love that you totally have your own style of doing it, and it reflects in that relaxed conversational style, and I really like that. With your podcast, what would you say that, apart from what you just mentioned, what would you say the main challenges of running your own podcast?
Marketing. It's literally that. Like it's the same with what we were kind of talking about previously with music nowadays. Is once getting over the hurdle of like getting guests, now we literally we don't have enough time to record the guests that want to come on, and also that I want on. Like we're recorded out until November now, so like we're not doing recordings until October again.
That's impressive.
So it's like it's the marketing, and also the fine tuning. Like I think we have a really good product, but I don't think I'm presenting it in the best possible way as a package. I don't think the cuts are that great. I don't think the thumbnails are that great. I think the titles could do better with work. I think the way it works on YouTube could be way better. I think how it's presented as like an overall brand could be way better and stronger. So it's just things that it's gotten better over the years, and of course you learn stuff, but now again it's like, for us it's like bringing on a team that is their sole job of turning the podcast into a business. Not saying that it needs to be a business that earns millions of dollars, it just also costs money to run. So it's like you guys like have costs, right? It's like you're in a fucking great studio, there's multiple people working on it, there's somebody editing it, like there is costs to that thing. And I've done it for 5 years, and now it's time that the podcast needs to up its level to get to the point where it can actually start generating cash to pay for itself. And that's it. But what do I need to do that is the product needs to be better. So yeah, there's been lots of challenges, and there's been multiple times where I've pretty much nearly quit it. I think nearly every year I've said this is probably going to be the last year.
Wow.
And it's not because
it's
not because I don't like the conversations. I don't like the editing. I don't like everything else around it. And then you get somebody that goes, the day of release goes, oh, we need to take this bit out, or we need to take that bit out, which is fine. It is what it is. But it's like, all of the like rigmarole of that is, it gets a lot when I'm also touring full time, writing music full time, and trying to have a life.
So many moving parts.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist in a vacuum. Definitely not. How would you say having your podcast and podcasting has influenced you in your DJing production career?
I don't know if it has. I think, I keep it very separately, but I think it's definitely grown a community of people that weren't aware of me beforehand, or maybe were aware of me. Podcasting's a very personal thing. It's, people get to know you. They spend a lot of time with you, and you don't even know they spend a lot of time with you.
Yeah, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, like how many episodes have I done now? 280 episodes.
That is just
so there's like
impressive.
over 300 hours of people listening to me, just chatting shit. And it's like,
I love it.
I was in Canada, like the most random place in Canada, like a few months ago, and one of the residents came on and was like, dude, I feel like we're best friends because I know so much about you. And you don't think about that, right? It's like it might not be the biggest podcast in the world. I might not have the biggest audience in the world, and I might not be able to sell the most amount of tickets in the world. But I think having a podcast, doing the music, doing social media and all that, people get to know you better. And I think that adds so much value to your career that I don't necessarily notice that from where I sit, but I think what you give back to the community comes back to you eventually.
100%. I mean, it's so weird to think about. Like there'll live in times where you're just walking down the street and someone who's a total stranger to you has spent hours listening to you, and they feel like they've spent time with you.
So weird. Like, it sounds really egotistical, but like in America, if I'm in like a major city, it's weird, but quite a lot of people recognize you. Obviously, I'm quite recognizable with the beard. But I was in Size the other day in Bristol, and somebody came up to me and was like, hey, you Will Clarke? And I was literally like shopping for shoes. And he was like, dude, I love your music and I love your podcast. And then I'm like, fuck, that dude's probably listened to a couple of podcasts. He knows so much about my career in just a few hours, right? And it's kind of weird, but it's also pretty amazing. But also, like, when they say like, I got so much from that conversation, I got so much from this conversation, it's like, it's great. It's like, if we can teach people and we can help people, like if I can, like Zane Lowe for me was like a massive inspiration of interviewers, podcasters, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And like he, as a DJ, he put me onto so much music. If I can do that for somebody else, and in 10 years time, somebody go, Will Clarke's podcast was the start of my music career, like that's fucking, what more do we need, right?
Oh, it makes it all so worth it, doesn't it? I mean, on that topic, I'll actually read it out. I read a comment on, how Spotify have added a feature where you can add comments, and someone had left a really nice comment on one of your recent episodes saying, Will, I don't know how you do it, but you nail it every time. I love your podcast, and every single episode is packed with inspiring stories and great people. Long live your podcast, because it's my weekly dose of inspiration. Like, what a comment. That's so lovely that someone's taken the time to like really express how it gives them that weekly little sort of dose of inspiration. How does it feel to read comments like that and hear things like that?
It's great. You just can't let it get to your head, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I think if you did, you'd just turn into an absolute knob jockey. But I think, it's like, I'm very fortunate. I guess being the type of person I am, I don't think is enough. So it's the constant like battle of okay, well, we've achieved that, well, we need to now achieve this, and it just doesn't really ever end. And it's kind of negative, but it's also like, I know where I need it to be where I will probably be slightly happy with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. There's pros and cons of thinking that way and moving the goalpost, isn't there?
Totally. And I think there are periods, there are times with the podcast that like I had Moby on. Like, no one talks to Moby, right?
Yeah, that's wild.
And it's like, Moby's one of the biggest inspirations of my career. Like, I can't even explain, like, coming off that podcast of like, I just literally spoke to Moby and he was cooking veg noodle soup whilst like, yeah, it was fucking mental. But then,
so you're literally transported into his kitchen,
yeah,
or
literally.
wherever he's making that. It's like, that's wild.
Yeah, and it's like that you have the I'm been very fortunate. I've had those moments, but then again, so I can enjoy those moments. It's like playing Coachella. It's like playing all of these big shows. Like, you have those moments, and I can enjoy it for a period of time. Whether that's 10 minutes after, whether that's a minute after, whether that's an hour after, whether that's a day after, where I can like pat myself on the back and go, yeah, that was cool. But at the end of the day, it still has to grow, and it's like some podcasts take years, just like careers takes years. Like, I heard like a big podcast the other day, and they were saying like it took 5 years to like even gain any momentum. And it's like,
that's a long time.
It's a long time, and that's what I've been doing is 5 years, 5 years going into 6 year next year. And then I'm like, I'm not the best podcaster. I can be better, but the product can be better. So now it needs to grow. And that's kind of where we're at with it, is that we've had some great moments and we've had some great conversations, but now it's like, how do I give back to the community even more so that it actually gives them more value? I have better conversations, and then it just gets bigger.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. I wanted to ask you, well, initially I wanted to ask you this next question, but I feel like speaking to you, I know the answer. Would you say that the Will Clarke that we see on social media and on stage is the same as the Will Clarke in real life? Yeah,
definitely. Well, what do you think?
Yeah, well, this is what I'm saying. Like, I definitely, it feels that way. But I know with a lot of DJs at your level, there's a stage persona, not even in a negative way, but there's a stage persona and then there's sort of like a real life persona. Yeah. And I think chatting to you, especially because you're very cool, calm and collected, it doesn't surprise me that you say that there's not really much difference. Yeah. Would you say there's any difference?
I think like there's certain things I don't share. I don't really share anything about like my personal life, like family, girlfriend, like anything like that. I keep personal stuff. There's certain things I don't share on social media.
Yeah, of course.
But apart from that, like I've been doing this too long to like try and fake who I am. And I think most people are pretty themselves on social media, especially nowadays. You kind of have to be. It's funny seeing people like change on social media and like change their persona to kind of make it work, but then they change slightly as a human being, not in a negative or a positive way. It's just like, oh, they work out how to like flick the switch for social media and it's like slightly elevated.
Yeah,
maybe
because it's almost like social media isn't as separate as it used to be. It's hard to have one for social media and one persona for real life, because we are kind of living in the metaverse or whatever.
I think also, I actually heard this yesterday on a podcast, and we shouldn't call it social media anymore, because we actually, I think there's like I think 5% of what we see is actually what our friends are. Like, so everything that we're actually being sent on social media isn't actually what we wanted to follow. And what like, when was the last time you saw your best mate from school on social media? Like, probably fucking never, right?
No.
Like, what social media started out as is a community platform to see what your friends are up to. It's not that now. It's just a media platform.
Cute videos of dogs in America that you're never going to meet.
or my literally my like explore page is cars and steak.
Yeah,
And
mine's just golden retrievers. It's like
yeah, and then like cookies, literally cookies, steaks, Porsches, and a bit of UFC.
it's like realistically,
There's
is it
not even
worth
any
the
hot
screen
girl.
time?
There's not even any hot girls on there. Like, how disappointing is that? Jesus.
It's like the explore page is just, yeah, sometimes it's so random, and it's like you're just being fed all this stuff that you probably just don't even want to be seeing, or it's not
Oh no,
having any value.
this is exactly what I want to see. This knows me so well.
Right.
Like,
so okay.
burgers, steaks, yeah, and Porsches.
Right.
Nothing else.
Well, on that topic, you're into food and cars. I'd like to know, if when you're not doing music, what do you enjoy doing?
Cooking.
Okay.
Cooking and yeah, just hanging out with friends and family. Like,
I love that.
try and make the most of the time that I am. I'm actually really lucky now because I live back in the UK and I'm traveling back and forth a lot from America, but that's just back and forth. I'm not spending time there where I used to live there like half the year. So now I'm back here full time. I get to like spend time with my friends that aren't in music, if you know what I mean. And my family and my girlfriend and things like that.
And you can cook for everyone as well. It's
Literally, like, well, one of the reasons why I couldn't come up today is because I've got cooking for family friends tonight. So yeah, I think, yeah, cooking, baking, my life's pretty fucking simple and boring.
Oh no, but that's not boring. Your life is the opposite of boring, definitely. If you didn't do music, what job do you think you'd be doing?
It's really hard because a lot of my interests have come through being part of music. So like, I'm really into fashion, although I don't necessarily like dress the most fashionable all the time. And like I love fashion a lot. So I'd probably do something in fashion. I also love fragrance. I'm like in the process of starting a fragrance company with a friend.
No way. Will that be connected to the Will Clarke brand, or is it going to be totally separate?
Completely separate.
Wow, okay.
I'll send you some samples. And
oh, thank you. Wow, that's amazing.
Like, being in music has made me want to build business outside of music.
Okay.
And that's not a negative way talking about music. I love business really excites me, and the music business isn't a business. It's a massive gamble. And I think there's certain things in business that it's still a gamble. Like, you still have to work and you still have to do certain things, but a lot from what I've seen, and I don't fully know, but from what I've seen is like, in business, you have a product, you put this in, it's a good product, you sell it and you get this out. Whereas in music, it's like a lot of luck in this game, right?
Yeah. It's not as simple as stats and graphs, is it?
No, don't get me wrong, it's way more fun. Like, but also there's something that really excites me about business that actually like, and it's not even like, obviously the making money is the product of being successful of all of what we do, right? And it's not all about making money, but there does come a point when, as human beings, we need to have a lifestyle and we need to be able to pay for that. But I think there's a thing with like seeing businesses grow, like that really excites me. It's also the music industry it's a very, although I've got a great team and it is a team, but it's a very small team, and it's all me. Like, I'm the product. So if I don't turn up, no one else wins, right? Whereas if I was selling this can, like, this can just has to be made, right? Yeah. And the product has to be made, and then it can go do its thing. Yeah. And the team can kind of carry on with that. And it's actually not specifically based on one person. And I think sometimes they're like, when you're the product, and when I'm saying you're as in me, when I'm the product and I'm also the head of the team, and also have like the manager artist relationship is such a unique relationship, right? And that the manager of the CEO of this company doesn't have the same relationship with this can than my manager has with me, right?
Well, you don't not.
I fucking hope not. So it's, and I think that's also the thing, is the stress and the pressure of the artist, for me, that I put on myself, and for the success for me, because I want my team to be successful. And I want it to be successful, not so I can fucking go buy the fast cars and nice houses, so my team can, and so we can all just like build something that's like really valuable, like personally and businessly. And I think sometimes it's nice to just be able to like step out of it and look at it from a different perspective. So yeah, I think in answer to your question, like that's definitely a goal of mine in future, is to, outside of music, is to kind of build something that's not in music at all.
That's exciting. That's really cool. Obviously, there's a lot of stressful things, ups and downs, as you've mentioned. What would you say your why is? What's your reason that after all these years you still loving music and you keep going with it? Why do you do what you do?
I don't know anything else. And I love it, right? It's the best. It's yeah, there's just no other option for me. Like, this is number one. And I know I'm interested in other things, right? And other things excite me. The best possible feeling I've ever experienced is coming in this room and writing a record that I fucking love. And then being able to play that to the world, and then putting it out to the world and it being out to the world. That process from start to beginning is an amazing process. I actually don't love releasing music anymore, just purely because the pressures that I put on myself of that music to be successful. And I need to work on that. But like, let's say for instance, last week I wrote like 5 records, and I just fucking love it. Like, it's the best feeling finishing that record and going, yeah, this is a fucking panty dropper. Like, this is such a good record. And like, that feeling is no better. Nothing else can kind of, nobody can make me feel as good as that feels.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
That's
well, I'm sure you get that, right? It's like,
well, I've not started putting music out yet, but
no, but you're writing
music.
music.
Yeah.
And I hope you're playing your music in your sets.
Well, I've not had any of it mixed down or mastered properly.
So what?
Not yet, but
so what? You don't need to. Just fucking play it.
I'm just a bit of a perfectionist.
Turn the gain up. Yeah, but if you're a perfectionist, you won't ever put it out.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because it will never go out.
Yeah, no, very, very good point. Right, so what are your goals for your next chapter of your career?
It's really hard because I stopped doing goals. This year I didn't do any.
Okay. Why is that?
Multiple reasons. Probably sounds quite negative, but I was finding I was writing goals and we weren't achieving them, and it kind of just got to me to the point where like, this is actually pretty negative.
Okay.
For me, the main thing, the one thing I want to get out of this year, it's been a massive reset year for me, although it might not look it from the outside point of view. Like, we did the remix album, I've got new singles coming out. It has been a massive reset from album Will Clarke to back to club Will Clarke, and also podcast Will Clarke, and like work out how to present all of this to the world. And my main goal for this year is to like bring everything together and make it all make sense. Make it all make sense to me, in a sense of it. I enjoy doing everything more. I really just want to be back to enjoying doing everything and it not be a chore, and building a team that really understands the goals of where we want to achieve. So I think if we talk about goals, it's get back to streaming, big streaming numbers, sell more tickets, enjoy touring more, and build the podcast to something that it can like really make a difference.
Yeah, they're amazing goals. Like, I love how they're like physical goals and also like personal life sort of goals as well. And it sounds like they'll sort of lock up really.
Yeah,
it
all ties in, right? All ties in. What about you?
Gosh, I wasn't expecting you to ask me. Well, my main goal is to get some music out by the end of the year, but I don't like saying that in case it doesn't happen.
See, that's the thing.
Then it's out.
But that's the thing of like setting goals, right? It's like a lot of these goals you're not gonna achieve to start with, right? But you will eventually. It just might be a few years down the line or 6 months after, or like the pipe dream goals, like that we have the biggest goal ever, right? Like, what's your biggest goal? Like, what's your dream goal at this moment in time in life?
Well, I'd love to have a residency on Radio 1 or
cool.
sort of get that one day.
Yeah, so that's the number one goal that you and the team or whoever you work with or just you by yourself should be at the top all the time. And then it's just setting little goals like what's the diagrams? I forgot what they're called.
Yeah, the Venn diagrams, crossovers.
Yeah. It's like that, and then it's just like, okay, well, what do I need to do to get a residency on Radio 1? Like, okay, well, I need to know this person, or I need to be doing this, I need to be doing that, I need to be talking to this person, I need to be doing that, I need to be doing here. And then they're the little goals that get you to where, and it will happen.
Yeah, that's really good advice. Thank you. No, I love that. That's words of wisdom. So with all of that said, what can we look forward to over the next coming months, the end of 2025?
New music, which I'm really excited about. More club-orientated music. I've got a record coming out on A-Track's label. And there's a couple... I have so much music. We just haven't fully decided what we're actually doing. Like,
I saw you tease some of it on your Instagram the other day, and they were quite euphoric, and they were really cool, and you had like an old schooly sounding one and some really modern sounding ones. Like, is that all stuff that you're hoping to release?
Yeah, we're doing some more teasers this week as well.
I'll keep an eye out.
There's like a top 10, but I keep on adding to it. There's just too much music. So we're going to be self-releasing a lot next year as well. I really want to go back to self-releasing and kind of start building the label up again. Since signing to Armada and then releasing the album, I wasn't allowed to release on my label, so I kind of stopped the label to a certain extent or put it on hiatus. So yeah, back to building the brand of the label, back to releasing music, and grow this podcast. That's it.
Sick, exciting stuff. Like, I'm really excited to see all of that come to fruition. Cool. Right, so we're at this part of the podcast where we like to do a little game of this or that. So like a nice, sometimes it's easy, sometimes people put way more thought into the answers to these questions. So we've got 20 quick fire questions, cool. 1 word.
Okay.
Or sometimes it's 2 words, but you get the gist. Cool. So, number 1, day parties or nighttime raves?
Day.
Digital or vinyl?
Digital.
Ableton or Logic?
Logic, fuck off Ableton.
Analog synths or digital plugins?
Analog.
Night owl or early bird?
Early bird.
Studio time or playing live?
Both. Sorry.
Coffee. You say both if you need to. Coffee or tea?
Tea, but I've only started recently drinking tea.
Really?
Yeah, I don't drink coffee as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive that you're an early bird and you don't drink coffee. Techno or house?
Both.
Summer or winter?
Winter.
Solo sets or back-to-back?
Solo sets.
City or countryside?
Countryside.
Collaboration or remix?
Both.
Preferred BPM, 124 or 130?
Neither.
Neither?
Nah. I'm like in between.
Somewhere in between, because I was saying most of your music's either like 124 or...
Yeah, I play about 128.
Okay, well that would make sense that your music's sort of 124 or 130, yeah. Pre-party or after party?
fuck after parties.
No, to be fair, I do agree with that. I need my sleep. Beach party or warehouse rave?
Warehouse.
Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Front row or back of the crowd?
Back. I'm never in the crowd unless I'm walking around. I'm not a raver.
Not a raver?
No.
Really?
Never have been.
Interesting. Festivals or nightclubs?
Depends. But festivals, but it depends on the festival.
Sweet or savoury for your post-gig snack?
Don't really eat after.
Really?
Yeah.
I have to.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe a protein bar, but that's about it.
Yeah. Love it. Well, you got through those 20 really quick. Flew through them. So we do like to finish these podcast episodes by asking the same question to all our guests. And that question is, if you could go to the start of your career and meet yourself when you were first starting out, what advice would you give to yourself?
Don't give up. That's the only thing.
Is that to 13-year-old version of you? When I say starting out, where do you picture yourself?
Yeah, just don't give up. It's like, yeah, there's, I could say so many things, but it's like, you're never going to be happy where you're at that point until you reflect, right? And go, oh shit, this time last year, or this time 10 years ago, this time 5 years ago, we weren't doing where you're at now. Even if things aren't as successful, right? Like you're still a different human being. You still learned a lot, and you still got to where you're at. And the only reason why you got to where you're at is by not giving up.
That's amazing advice. Thank you. So if people have been listening today and they're like, I want to hear this guy's podcast, I want to follow Will and, you know, all the rest, where can they find you? YouTube, DJ Will Clarke, I think. Or just the Will Clarke podcast. Instagram at DJ Will Clarke or the Will Clarke podcast. Yeah, get involved. Amazing. Well, Will, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It's been such a pleasure, and I've learned so much from you and what you've done in your career. So thank you so much. No worries. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Beyond the Booth with me, your host, Grace Garcia. If you enjoyed this episode, please feel free to check us out on social media at We Are Academy 94 and stay tuned for next week's episode. I'll see you there.